في هذه السنوات القاسية حاربت وعانيت وتعبت وصمدت أمام كل المصاعب بوحدي. سنوات حلمت فيها بقرطبة، قرطبة تاج وجوهرة الإسلام والقلب النابض للأندلس المسلمة. كل الذي قمت به كان من أجل قرطبة، وقرطبة ستكون لي.
This is what will greet you as you play as this Emir, the Iberian struggle. I wouldn't worry about it too much for now, but all this means is that all characters involved in the Iberian Peninsula are at the whims of this struggle. Let's take a look at our character. We are Emir Yahya. We are just, diligent and vengeful. Our education is an intricate web weaver, and we are a schemer. So each of these traits will influence how good our stats are. So for example, we are poor in diplomacy, we are average at martial, average at stewardship, excellent at intrigue, and poor at learning. Overall, these are some pretty good stats. But with CK3, you are influenced by your character. So we are going to be making heavy use of this 22 intrigue. Because of his age, you can see that he's already learned. He already has a lot of perks. And we're going to compound that with skullduggery focus, which is going to allow us to get more of the intrigue experience, as well as giving us +3 to intrigue. So our entire aim today is to try and create a stable realm for our son, because we are not long for this world. So before our death, we want to put him in the best possible position. And we can do that by forming the Kingdom of Andalusia. There are different map modes down here that will show you de jure lands. Essentially, this is what the world actually looks like, and this is what the different de jure ones look like. For example, our primary title, this duchy, is comprised of these lands, and Andalusia is comprised of these ones. If we select this here, it'll tell us exactly what we need to get those things. First off though, this is the map, this is our realm. Whilst we're technically in control of all of this land, some land is better than others for us. For example, these 4 are directly controlled by us. They give us our maximum possible benefit because, well, we're not skimming off the top, we're not taxing anyone for it. Whereas other lands like this one is ruled by our vassal, in this case, our son. And he is going to be paying us in terms of men and money. So the first thing we're going to want to do is secure ourselves a marriage. This comes with an alliance, and whilst they do have inferior strength to us, it's still worth grabbing that. I'm also going to unpause, and the speed is in the bottom right. And I've already got myself an achievement. Beautiful Cordoba. The former seat of the caliphal authority in Hispania during the reign of the Umayyads, a worthy prize for any ruler to pursue. Now I stand to make a choice. Do I rely on military might, or do I leverage my cunning to sow discontent within their ranks? The approach I choose will be the one I use from now on. So Cordoba is down here, and it's clear that we do want that. Ordinarily, we'd have 2 options here, but this special option is because of how good we are at scheming. Because of that scheming trait, we get ourselves some special options, which are typically better than others. So hovering over each of these will show us what we want to do, but we do want to declare war on Cordoba and take their land. So wars are won with words and well-placed knives. Every time you declare war, your opponent has to succeed an intrigue duel against you or gain the hampered by false intelligence modifier, which is actually really, really good. And we will immediately start a war. So there we go. We are at war. You can see that he has 1,400 troops. A bit more than that, actually. It looks like he's hired some mercenaries. What we need to do is, well, fight, because otherwise they are going to ravage our lands. I'm going to click this button to raise all of our armies, and they will start to gather here. So it looks rather even, which is not good because we want to have overwhelming superiority. You can change the commander in the bottom left. For example, we could command our troops ourselves, which we're going to go ahead and do. So I move my army around by right-clicking. So if I were to right-click over here to where the enemy is going to be, I would see that I would probably lose this battle because they have a better army commander, their troops are better, and generally, they're all a bit better. Fortunately, we can do a few things with this. Firstly, we can call in our ally. So when selecting a character, you can right-click, and it'll give you a menu of things that you can do. Some friendlier than others. So what we want to do is call our ally to war. So we click on this button here, call to war, and it opens up a menu. This is our first instance of spending prestige. This is one of the currencies that we'll use throughout the game, and it'll show the acceptance. So we're going to call them to war. We are going to wait for our ally to turn up though, because I'm not one to throw away a winning hand. And here he is. So let's march in. There is a siege ongoing here, so let's interrupt that with a battle. We are going to catch the troops here. Okay, so this is the screen. There's a lot going on here. Generally speaking, for a newcomer, all you need to really look at is this, the relative strength. If this bar goes blue, it's good for us. If it goes red, it's bad. We have our allies coming in, which pushes it. Generally, the best way to learn more about this game is to look at something, think, that's interesting, and then go down that sort of tree of knowledge. Right, our valiant troops have defeated the cowardly Cortubans. That makes sense. And so now we are going to follow this up by going to their capital and sieging it down. Not before another battle as the enemy is retreated there. That's quite useful. Okay, I'm going to increase the speed to 4, and we are going to wait out this siege. Our ally has decided that they're going to do more than their fair share and fight a battle. Unfortunately for them, it does appear that they're going to lose. Oh, it's going to be close. It's coming down to literally the last 57 men, but they've done it. Well done, chats. Well done. Proud of you. We have another event. This really makes up the flavor of CK3. Generally speaking, I want to make it very clear. There is no wrong choice. CK3 is, as I said, an RPG. It's essentially about stories. And so you can build the story however you want to build it. And so as my character is vengeful, I am going to have this damn tree chopped down and give ourselves an aversion to joy. You can see that we're going to lose stress. I'll briefly explain what that means. This in the bottom left is our stress level. We gain stress when bad things happen, like people that we care about dying, or when we act against our character. So we are just diligent and vengeful. If we were to do something that was unjust, for example, then we would gain stress. That's not to say that you can't do it. It just means there are consequences for your actions. And there we go. We have sieged down the territory, and we've also captured our foe as a prisoner, which is also going to give us 100% automatically. This is the peace screen, and we can either surrender, wipe peace, or enforce demands. Those are our options. So obviously we are going to enforce our demands. Now that's given us a lot more territory. We now have 8 out of 5 holdings. That is going to be very, very bad for our administration. So let's start handing these things out. We're going to click this grant to, and we can grant it to literally anyone we'd like pertaining to our religion and culture. Also, if no one here takes your fancy, you can give it to a local Andalusian noble or a noble of our culture. But we're going to hand these provinces off to the ones that the game recommends. Interesting. Today I found a letter addressed to my wife, written in a lover's hand. My mind races with speculation about who my wife might be having an affair with. So in the midst of us fighting a war, it would seem our wife has been a little bit unfaithful. So we get a choice here. Either we assume it's a forgery and trust our wife, we confront her directly, or we find out who it is. Us being the scheming man that we are going to find out who it was. It's a fake planted by Emir Muhammad II. Well, this man is directly in our ambitious eyeline of conquering Andalusia, so he will pay for this. And we are going to make him pay. Might seem a little bit excessive, but we're going to murder this man. We are going to gain 40 stress because we're just, but frankly, I think it is worth it. So we are going to start the scheme. Let's see. It seems Emir Muhammad is tightening security at court. So we can either trust our abilities or his trail to me needs to end. I don't want to take the risk that the murder scheme is discovered, so we're going to end his involvement. What we're going to do to try and ensure success of our scheme, we're going to go over to the Intrigue tab, which is going to show our hostile scheme in progress. Currently, we have an 81% chance of not getting caught and a 66% chance of success. Old Emir Yahya wants to improve his chances. He already has fantastic intrigue. Why not increase the odds even more? So if we click invite, we can convince characters to join our scheme. And this is ranked as to how powerful they'd be. What we can do is over here, bribe this individual with some gold, and he joins the scheme, increasing the chance of success. Now I'm spending a lot of money on this. This man tried to cause a rift between me and my wife, and I will not stand for it. He's also gotten involved in this war that we're fighting. Here we go. One of my agents has acquired a deadly spider and arranged for a servant to hide it in Emir Muhammad's bed before dark. I hope you're not afraid of spiders. Let's see how that goes. Excellent. Emir Muhammad is dead by the lethal bite of a deadly spider. The spider struck not long after he retired to his chambers, and although guards were called, no one could do a thing to save him. Thankfully, spiders do not talk, so the attack cannot be traced back to me. We did it. He's dead. And this place is now ruled by a child. That's going to be very weak for him. Okay, we are well on our way to creating the Kingdom of Andalusia. So we need enough de jure counties, which we already have. We need 500 gold, which we do not have. And we need 2 duchy titles to be owned by us directly. That can be solved quite quickly. So we're going to look at some duchy titles, and we can see that Valencia and Cordoba both lie in our territory. I like the idea of being the Duke of Cordoba. So we're going to select that and create title down here. Because we have enough de jure counties, we have the money. So this is going to cost us money, but it's also going to give us prestige. And now we are a 2-time Duke. All we need is the 500 gold in order to form the kingdom. Something has just occurred. Now this sort of stuff can happen when you have the dynastic mess that is the medieval age or late medieval age. It would appear that the holder of this territory, my vassal, was involved in a war, and now we are as well. Well, let's defend our lands. Fortunately, after one victory, we've captured the enemy, and let's enforce our demands. A very useful way to drum up some funding. Okay, so we've secured enough funds to be able to call ourselves the King of Andalusia, Al-Andalus. So we have a little celebration, and we can see ourselves in our court. I'm not going to worry too much about court interactions because it's not as beginner friendly, but essentially you click on court artifacts and you can hang up some banners, which will all give you some nice bonuses. And over here, this is our court grandeur. This is how grand people expect us to be. We make a lot of money, so we're going to spend some cash in order to get ourselves some better amenities. This is what people expect from us, and this is what we're going to give them. Now, you might see that some of the territory, or the de jure territory of Al-Andalus, lies outside of our borders. So let's see what we can do to fix that. This is the son of the man's father we murdered, and he quite likes us. But instead of declaring war and seizing it, what we could do is offer vassalage. So we're going to do that for everyone that lies within these territories. Hopefully they see us as their de jure leader. There's one that's joined, and there's another. Now, we're still educating our grandson, and occasionally we'll get events pop up that gives us the ability to give him a trait. So we can get him to keep diligent, we can swap it out for gregarious, and we can swap it out for temperate. You can hover over these to see what the benefit of each one is. Now, we'll gain stress if we educate him to a trait that isn't sort of natural to us. Diligence is a good one, so we're going to keep that. We finally get the torture trait as well, which is going to give us levy size and also make it harder for people to kill us, which is very nice indeed. Okay, it appears Garanta have finished their war, so let's offer vassalage here. Now, with no exemption, he's not going to be too happy about joining us, but a religious exemption we can grant him, be practical, offer him vassalage, and he joins Al-Andalus. And our realm grows stronger. Don't worry, my son, we will secure this place for you. So we can use some of the piety we've gathered in order to declare some wars. However, our stress is getting dangerously high, so let's do something to reduce it. Over here we can go to activities, and we are going to host ourselves a feast. Could be a murder feast, but there's not really anyone we want to kill right now. We sort of diddled that, and we're going to make it a really, really good feast. Our focus is going to be recreation to try and lose as much stress as possible, and let's host it. There are 31 individuals joining us here today. Excellent. A lot of stress loss. This is what we need. We can lose even more stress. Still, we are quite stressed out. Now, let's shore up our territory by going to war. That's a nice battle there. Okay, we've won several battles, and now it's time for us to go engage in a siege race. But very fortunately, we seem to have imprisoned Emir Yahya, our opponent, not ourselves, obviously, and that will call an end to the hostilities. It would appear we're at death's doorstep. We are dying, so we should probably get our affairs in order. Let's pet our cat. Let's lash out as is our custom. The Tunisian hybrid culture's formed. Nice. What we can do is look at our succession. So we go over to Realm, we click Succession, and we can see what's going to happen. It would appear we have one final rebellion to put down before our death. And there it is. Yahya has died. He's abandoned this transient world and flown to heaven at 62 years of age. He died of old age, known for his twisted, conniving mind. He never revealed his true intentions to anyone, not even his closest friends. And now we have our son. And I think we could say we've achieved our aim of a peaceful succession. Our titles were split between our sons, as is tradition. Still, therein lies our tutorial for Emir Yahya. What a man he was. The important thing to note about Crusader Kings III, if nothing else, even if you didn't learn any of the mechanics in this video, is that nothing can go wrong because nothing is wrong. It's all part of your story. Our father dying when he was at his absolute peak, we now have a lack of prestige and piety. That's just all part of his story. And you can see the Byzantines are collapsing, and that's part of their story. Losing titles on succession, having characters die out of the blue is all part of the game. And it makes it a lot more satisfying if you lost everything to then climb your way back up and claim what your family once had.